Is this from God?
Of course it is.
Right, so if this book from God says that you can marry children, do you think that that's right?
Well,
Yeah, I would.
And on what grounds?
Yes,
Go on, I'll talk to you. He's
No,
not listening.
you're not talking. You're not. No. You're not gonna dodge me. Answer you.
You're either going to let him
me.
dominate you,
I will
or you're gonna
dominate
talk
you.
to him. Well, what you're saying is, Muhammad is not the best example for today.
He's the best example for mankind.
But except when he's marrying children.
No, it doesn't matter what the Quran says.
It doesn't matter what the Quran
It
says.
says if the Quran is.
I agree with
In the
you.
Bible, in the Bible.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, but
It
in
does
the
not matter what the
Bible,
Quran
it
says. We
doesn't
should
say
stop following it. Okay.
How are you, Bobby?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
Remember me? We talked one time, you know.
I don't.
2 years
I don't remember.
Yeah,
We talked a lot.
Yeah,
A lot.
You talked to a lot of people, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you know, just basically what I wanted to ask is that I hear a lot of Christians and other people accuse Prophet Muhammad of marrying a child.
Yeah, he did.
And one time I came across, you know, something about Isaac.
Yeah.
It says that he married a child as well.
Can we pull it up?
It's in the Jewish tradition. It's not in the Bible.
So it's irrelevant then to Christianity. You need to speak to the Jews.
But the fact is, did it happen or not?
Well, the thing is, so let me
most
answer that.
important
So let me
thing,
answer that question. We Christians don't accept the Jewish extra biblical writings as authoritative in our faith.
All right.
If you can't show me
Yeah.
that Isaac married a child in the Bible,
Yeah.
then it isn't an argument I need to answer.
But Aisha's age is not in the Quran.
Is it in the Bible?
Does it have to be in the Bible?
Yes, it has to be in the Bible.
But if it's not in the Bible, it didn't happen.
If it's not in the Bible, then it's not an authority for us to respond to.
Is it a historical fact?
No, I don't believe it will be.
And how about Augustine? You also mentioned.
Yeah.
So are we moving off the? Are we moving off the?
You know, I can't.
the Isaac thing?
I don't know how to answer you if you say that because you're avoiding it.
I'm not really.
You're avoiding
You're
it
asking
because-
me to defend texts that the Jews need to defend. I'm a Christian. I defend the Bible.
But you know, you have to be a fair man. You know.
I am being fair.
Don't deny something that could have happened. You know.
I'm
It's
not denying
possibility.
something that could have happened.
If a man like Isaac married a child, then that would destroy Christianity for you.
So here's the difference, right? When I point out that Muhammad had sex with a child, I'm quoting sources that Muslims accept as authoritative, your hadiths, your Sahih hadiths.
Yeah.
You're asking me to defend something that is based upon Jewish texts that I do not accept as authoritative. I accept the Bible as authoritative.
I do not accept the hadith that says she was 9.
Okay,
what do you think about that?
So are you not a Sunni Muslim?
No, I don't accept the hadith
Based on what?
because it could have been fabricated.
It could have been
Because
fabricated.
there's another hadith that says she was 19.
So do you not agree with Imam Bukhari?
Not everything in Bukhari is correct.
Okay,
Not
so
everything.
on what basis do you say that Imam Bukhari was wrong for saying that Muhammad had sex with a child?
Look, I'm using the same thing, the same freedom you're using. You say
No, you're not. You're not at all.
No, let me say this.
You're not at
you
all.
say you don't accept Jewish tradition and Jewish sources. And I say I don't accept everything in Bukhari.
Yeah, but what
You're
I'm
the
saying
same,
to you,
you know?
no. Again, this is it's a false dichotomy that you're using. So let me try and clarify what this false dichotomy is. The false dichotomy is this: you, as a Muslim, and I'm assuming that you're a Sunni Muslim.
I am, yeah.
Right. So you are a Sunni Muslim.
Yeah.
You, as a matter of your belief, accept the authoritative nature of Sahih al-Bukhari. He is someone who is esteemed in Muslim circles. And it's Sahih al-Bukhari, a Muslim, recording Islamic traditions in an Islamic book for Muslims that says Muhammad had sex with a child.
Okay.
Right, one second. No, I haven't finished. I haven't
Try to
finished.
say it in a
I
nice
haven't.
way.
No, I don't need to sugarcoat the fact that Muhammad had sex with a child.
Just that we can continue with our conversation. You know?
So one second. We as Christians accept the Bible. The text that you're referring to, which you haven't quoted yet, but the text that you're referring to is something that we Christians have never said is authoritative. Never.
I
So it's a
accept that.
false
Let's move on.
dichotomy.
Let's move on
False
from
dichotomy.
that. Let's move on from
Yeah.
that. What your Bible say donkey about Ismail?
Go on. What about it?
Don't you think that is intolerance?
No.
It's not. intolerance.
No, do you want to pull up the text? Have you got the text?
Yes, I have.
Shall we see it in context?
Ismail is the patriarch of Arabs and Muslims.
Shall we see it in
Genesis 16:12.
Let's just look at it in context.
In context.
In context, let's look at it. Let's look at it. Genesis 16:12.
It's so rare to say donkey about the patriarch of other people.
Let's have a look at it in context. In context.
Genesis 16:12.
Right, so we'll read it from...
Just read 12 first.
Right, we'll read 12 first and then we'll read it in context. He will be a wild donkey of a man. His hand will be against everyone and everyone's hand will be against him. And he will live to the east. He will live to the east of all of his brothers. Now, let's now read it in context because that's what we said we were going to do. Because the thing is, once again, you're trying to create a false dichotomy. The hadiths that talk about Muhammad marrying a 6-year-old child and having sex with a 9-year-old child are given in context. They are not taken out of context. Now, let us go to this verse in context. It says, "Moreover, the angel of the Lord said to her, I will greatly multiply your descendants so that they will be too many to count. The angel of the Lord said to her further, Behold, you are with child, and you will bear a son, and you shall call his name Ishmael." So in context, what we see is that the verse is saying Ishmael is blessed by God to have many descendants. Let me finish. Let me finish, because you want to pull out your choice thing out of context and ignore the context. I am not going to be silenced. I'm going to finish what I'm saying and then you can reply. So the verse in context says that Ishmael is blessed by God. And then it goes on to say, because the Lord has given heed to your affliction. So the Lord took pity on Hagar and saved the child Ishmael. And then it goes on to say, he will be a wild donkey of a man. He will be a wild donkey of a man. His hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand will be against him, and he will live to the east of his brothers. In other words, it's describing the character of Ishmael. It's saying what the character of Ishmael is. That Ishmael will be a man who is at war. His descendants will be at war with the peoples that surround them. That's describing him. It's not insulting him.
Okay, quick question. You said Muhammad had sex with a 6-year-old.
No, I didn't. You didn't listen. I said he married a 6-year-old. No, you didn't listen. Let me correct you. Yes, and the video will show that I'm correct because, bro, you know what's the problem? I've had this debate for 4 years, and for 4 years I have said exactly the same thing. Muhammad had sex with a 9-year-old child and married her when she was 6. Now let me ask you this question. Do you think that a 6-year-old child is ready for marriage? Answer the question.
No, of course not.
Right. So do you think I'm right to point out that there's a problem there?
I'm not an expert on biology, I'm not an expert on history.
Are you telling me that you think it's up for question about whether 6-year-olds are open for marriage?
I'm asking you, does it say that in the hadith? Because you said...
Yes, it says it in the hadiths.
It doesn't just say marriage, it also says sex, right?
It says when she was 9 they had sex. Let me read them to you. You really must pay attention. Let me repeat.
It was from age of 79.
So?
That's in UK.
Yes.
1770.
And are they a prophet that you should follow?
And imagine about you talking
Are they a
about
prophet that you should
1,400
follow?
years ago.
Are they a prophet you should follow?
Good that time, but not this time.
Every time there was a purpose. They had a purpose.
Okay,
right?
so let's just read the
What was
hadiths.
man's beverage at that time?
Let's just read the
They were
hadiths.
fighting, right? So they have to produce
A lot of pagans, polytheists.
Check on your Bible. Joseph married musical Maria at the age of 12.
No, it doesn't. Show me. Show me. Show me. Show me. Show me. Come on, use Google. Use Google. Show me. Show me. Sahih al-Bukhari. Sahih al-Bukhari. I've not got it on here.
Open it.
So Sahih al-Bukhari says that Muhammad married a child when she was 6 and had sex with her when she was 9.
It says that in Bukhari.
That's what it says in Bukhari. Right. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Can someone Google it? I don't think. Let's pull it up.
Hadith is not Quran. Yeah?
Let's pull it up.
Hadith is not Quran.
Let's just expose
But
this
Bible,
brother
yeah.
for the
Bible,
crap
yeah.
that he's talking about.
Which version you want to talk about?
Let's
The
talk
Old
about
Testament,
it.
The New Testament.
Anyway,
Which
Bob,
one? Which one?
Here's another question. Again, I'm not a biologist expert or like a doctor, but isn't it true that 200-300 years ago everyone got married like at a much younger age?
Yes, they did.
In the
His
Jewish
grandfather
In the
was
Jewish
married at that
community,
age.
in the Christian
So what, is that
community.
your grandfather
But let
was
me
a
let me
pedophile?
Just one
explain.
moment.
Is your grandfather
If that's the
pedophile?
case, why do we have a problem with someone marrying a child as it's defined today, 1400
Right, let me explain why it's a problem. And let me explain it
is
to
it a
you.
problem now, or
Let me explain why it's a problem. And let me explain to this guy why it's a problem. Right? Because, right, we all know that people in the past married young children. But we don't look to the kings of Christendom and say that they are prophets that you should be following today. Muslims say Muhammad is a prophet you follow today. So when he married a child and had sex with a child, that's a problem.
Are you saying because Muslims have to follow Muhammad?
As a moral example.
But do we see Muslims marrying 6
That
years
is a
old?
right man.
Yes.
Where?
In Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Kurdistan,
In UK,
in Pakistan.
In UK 1770.
Do you think that that's a problem?
In UK 1770 from 7 to 9 they
Do you
get married.
do you think that's a problem?
Bro, this guy is not true,
Yes.
bro.
He said yes.
Google it, fam. In
Acknowledge it,
70
acknowledge-
And you're not listening, bro, are you?
1770. I'm listening. You're going back.
Your
1400 years.
prophet is your
You're going
prophet a
back to
moral
1400
example.
years.
So he's not a moral example today.
But hold on. Let's forget about Muhammad for a second. Today, does marriage happen? Like if they-
Not in that age.
Yes, they do.
Show me.
Yes, they
I would
do.
have thought it would be.
But are you telling me Joseph, he didn't marry,
it
was
might
he called
happen in
marry
some
at the age of 12?
minority- Bob, do you accept that it does happen in the minority
like
communities,
my
but
face.
it's not really encouraged? I mean, I'll really be surprised
always behind the
if everyone is marrying a
Yeah, you have
6-year-old.
to.
Right. Let me just pull up the reference for this guy.
Where have you guys?
Please listen. Are you telling me Muslims are actively encouraging men to marry 6-year-olds? Or is it just something that it just happens
Yes,
in
I am
this
telling
tribe?
you that there are active Muslim ulama in the Islamic world today.
Minority.
No, they are in the main. No. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Hold on one
She's older
second.
than me.
Ali Dawah in this park said that he would marry his prepubescent child.
That's Ali Dawah.
He's on video.
Ali
He's on
is
video.
here.
He's on video having done it.
Ali,
Ali would never say that.
He did say that.
He would never say
We've
that.
got it on camera, I believe, JC. Is that true?
You got everything on
We've got
camera,
that. We've got that on camera.
You asked me, would I allow my daughter to get married at 9? I'm saying the analogy is wrong because our teachers teach us the woman has to be sexually, mentally, and physically ready. That means if my daughter, if my daughter wants to menstruation, hold on, let me finish. If my daughter reached the age of menstruation at 9 years old, I would say you are ready. You are ready to get married. However, it's forbidden for me to force her. If she says, Dad, I don't want to get married. All right, no.
So you asked me. Let's just see.
Bob, if that's the case, why are we not saying Muslims
In
walking around with
1970.
children as wives?
No, actually in
Why did the Prophet
1770.
marry?
Hold on 1 second.
Legal age marriage was from
answer the
7 to
question.
9 years old.
Bob, if what you're saying is true, why are we not saying Muslims walking around
So
with
you said her
5-year-olds,
grandfather was
6-year-olds?
pedophile?
Guy,
Her grandfather was
it's
pedophile?
because it's illegal in this country to do so. Dumbass. Are you honestly telling me? Or your logic is this. Your logic is this. Because you live in a country in which marrying children is illegal, and because you don't see Muslim men marrying children in a country in which it's illegal, that means it doesn't happen in the Muslim world. Is that your logic?
I came from
Answer
Saudi
my
Arabia,
question.
I came from
Is that
Yemen.
your logic?
We don't marry
So your
talking about
argument,
1400
your
years ago.
argument,
Talk about 300
your
years ago in your
argument
country.
is
about
Muslims
300
are
years ago
still
in your
doing
country.
it today.
No, we're not.
There are
I'm married to a
still
woman, she's
child
older than
marriages.
me.
So
She's
what?
older than me.
Does
So
that
what's
prove
mean? How come I
that
don't
there are
follow
no
Prophet
child
Muhammad? How come I
marriages
don't follow
in the
Prophet
Islamic
Muhammad?
world?
He has to follow Prophet Muhammad.
Are you telling me her
So you
husband
don't
is
follow
a
Muhammad.
pedophile?
So
Are
you
telling
don't.
me her
So you
husband
don't
is
follow.
pedophile
So you
when
don't
married
follow
her?
Muhammad.
Because I'm pretty sure
So
she
you
was
don't follow
young when she
Muhammad.
married her husband.
You don't follow Muhammad.
He fellow Isaac who married 3-year-old girl.
You walked away, bro.
Yeah, because you are
You
a
walked
religion
away,
boss.
bro.
What country do you
You're
consider?
crazy.
Hold on. What country do you consider to be the
Who
Islamic
can
world?
talk to you? Nobody
Name
can
one
talk to you.
country.
What country do you
Name
think
one country.
represents the Islamic world?
Extremist.
Right, so let's pull it up. Let's
Bob,
put it up.
Bob, please
Let's
answer
put
the
it up.
question. Bob, you keep
Let's
referring
pull
to
it
the
up.
Islamic
You know what?
Name one country.
Brother. Right? You have already condemned Muhammad's behavior.
Why?
Do you condemn Muhammad's behavior? Do you condemn Muhammad's behavior?
What's Muhammad's behavior?
Do you condemn?
Muhammad's behavior?
Answer the question.
What's Muhammad's
Do
behavior?
you condemn
What's Muhammad's
Muhammad
behavior?
for marrying a child?
What's Muhammad's behavior?
At this point, do you condemn him for having sex with a
Do you
child?
condemn Isaac?
Right, okay. So you have the same problem with Muhammad that I do.
No, but you're claiming
No, we
it's
don't have no
happening.
problem.
You're claiming
So
the
you
only
condemn
difference-
that.
He
God
literally
can
just
come
said he
from
has a
pussy.
problem. He
So
literally
are you
just said he
telling
has
me
a
God can
problem.
come from-
No, hold on.
Are you telling me God can come from a?
You expect it's happening in every
Huh?
culture. The
Are
only
you telling me a
problem we
creator
have-
can
Hold on.
create his
Bro,
creation
please.
and then the creation will give birth to his
Bro,
creator?
Please.
You
You said
dumbass.
you accepted it's happening in Christianity. You accepted
Dumbass
it's happening
and
in
a liar,
Judaism.
man.
You accepted historically it's happening
You've got a
everywhere.
problem with your own prophet and your own hadiths.
Dumbass.
No, brother.
nothing but a dumbass
You're
and a
angry. Why are
liar.
you angry?
I'm angry because you're telling lies.
Lies about what? What's the lie?
But God come from a Quranic.
What's the lie?
Do you think God
What's the
come from a
lie?
pussy?
That Muhammad had sex
Do you
with a
think
child.
God come from
How
a
old was
pussy?
Aisha?
Muhammad is a man. or is
How
a God?
old was
Is
Aisha?
Muhammad God or a man?
How
Is
old was
Muhammad God or
Aisha?
man?
How
Is Muhammad
old was
God or
Aisha?
man?
He's a man.
Is
He's a man.
What's your
How
God?
old was his
Your
wife?
God can come from.
How old was his
Do you
wife?
believe a God come from?
Was his wife?
Do you believe a God?
How
can come
old
from-
was?
Do you believe? a
How
God can
old
come
was
from-
his wife? How
Do you
old
believe
was
a
his
God can
wife?
come from-
How old was his wife?
believe
How
that
old
God
was
come
his
from
wife?
his
I'll just come back to talking to you. It's pointless talking to
Do
this
you
guy.
believe a God come from a woman?
Hold on, bro, please.
Do you believe that?
Name us one country that represents the Islamic world.
Why don't he not answer my
Sorry?
question?
Name me one country that represents the Islamic world today.
Saudi Arabia.
So if
It's
I
not
go to Saudi
important.
Arabia,
It's important
if I go-
God,
please,
not
bro,
prophets.
Please.
God
If
is
I go-
important.
If I go to Saudi Arabia today,
So your
am
God
I going to
come from
see
pussy?
loads of men with 6-year-olds as wives?
Probably not loads
Why not?
because
But why not? But you said
most
it's a
men
prophet. You said-
because most men are not attracted to children.
Yeah,
But you said they follow their prophet.
You're not listening.
Are they not devout
You're
Muslims?
not listening.
you priests is attracted
You're
to
not
boys.
listening.
You priests is attracted to boys.
Are you saying no?
What
You
you
see
talking
what
about?
you're doing,
You
bro. If
priests
you
are-
just
check
if we
your
got
priests.
all right, I'll
Check
just
it every
speak
check.
louder then.
Yeah, speak
So the
louder.
brother says,
say?
the brother says, well, if I go to Saudi Arabia, will I see loads of men marrying children?
he
No, he won't.
He would. But
Why not?
But if he goes
I'll
to church-
explain why
to
not.
church, you will find a lot of
One
men
reason
sucking the
why
Why?
is because it isn't obligatory that you have to marry a child. It is only permissible that you can marry a child. Did you hear the difference? Secondly, because most men are not attracted to children. But Muhammad was attracted to children. That is why he sucked on the tongue of a child. That is why he married a 6-year-old. That is why he had sex with a 9-year-old. You see, bro, if you interrupt me, I just have to raise my voice. If you want to have a conversation, you have to listen to the answer. Now, do you want to have a conversation, or shall I just speak at this volume? Right then, stop
priests touch little
interrupting.
boys.
Yes, of course you can.
You priests touch little boys until this day. Go to every. Don't touch me, old woman.
Your whole argument.
Why are you threatening an old woman?
I said don't touch
Why
me,
are you
old woman.
threatening
I
an
never
old
said- I said,
woman?
don't touch
He's
me.
not going to hurt you, love.
Don't
There's
worry,
loads
I'm
of
not gonna
guys
go.
that are
I'm
going to
not
stop him.
exposing truth.
There's loads of guys.
Build that a liar.
Don't intimidate an old lady.
Intimidate.
You just try to get aggressive with an old lady. With an old lady. And I wonder why.
Why?
Because Muhammad called for an old lady critic of his to be killed
Jewish point.
while her child clung to her.
Please.
Muhammad is a man, everyone, yeah? Muhammad is like you and me.
Bro,
But what about Jesus?
Bro, please.
Jesus, he come from a.
Bro, please.
Changing the
Did you know
subject.
that?
He's just running away. He's
come
just
from a
running
pussy.
away.
And guess what? He never even finished his mission. He died virgin. He died virgin. You married. How the is he gonna tell you about marriage rules? How Jesus will tell you about marriage rules when he died virgin?
He's saying Muhammad was a pedophile.
No, he let him say that. He's talking about his church. All of them church.
No, I'm talking about Muhammad. Literally speaking about Muhammad. And let's explain something, guys. The reason why he's so upset is because he does not want to imagine that his prophet had sex with a child. That's why he's angry. He's not upset with that. He's not upset with his prophet having sex with a child.
Because it doesn't make sense.
No, the reality is that it is Islamic sources that say that Muhammad had sex with a child. Not Christian sources, not some right-wing pamphlet, but Sahih al-Bukhari said Muhammad had sex with a child. And he's angry about me exposing that because he doesn't want to imagine his prophet having sex with someone who is young, a prepubescent child. And he's right to be angry, but he's being angry at the wrong person. He shouldn't be angry at me for referencing Sahih al-Bukhari. He should be angry with Sahih al-Bukhari for saying that Muhammad had sex with a child. He should be angry with Muhammad for having sex with a child.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
Okay, so you said the only reason you had this issue with Muhammad was that because he's a prophet and Muslims follow him, right? Because otherwise you accept it in the Christianity, in the Jewish community. Historically, it's happened all over the place, in every culture. However, the only issue you had with Muhammad was because he was a prophet that Muslims follow, right? That's why you had this problem.
Yes.
And then when I asked you to, tell me about the Islamic world, one country that represents Islam, you said Saudi Arabia. And I asked you, if I go to Saudi Arabia, am I going to see loads of men marrying 60?
And what did I say?
You said no.
And why did I say no?
Because
Why did I say no?
Let me respond.
Why did I say
You
no?
said no because not every man finds 6-year-olds attractive.
And
Because
and because something that is permitted is not necessarily obligatory. It isn't obligatory to marry
You answer
children.
your own questions. Muslims don't follow that aspect of.
They do.
But in Saudi, you just said Saudi represents Islam, and if I go there, I'm not going to see all men marrying 6-year-olds.
Will you find some?
In the extreme minority, probably.
Is it permissible?
I'm sure someone could use the argument from the Quran to make it permissible. But
Is that a problem?
It's not the norm. You said Iran,
Is that a problem?
You said the whole Islamic world, and I'm telling you, I ask you, what country on the planet that's Islamic? If I go, I'm going to see men marrying 6-year-olds.
You're talking about what's he called Muhammad, what's he called with kids.
It does exist.
What about First Samuel?
It does exist. Why are you so keen to defend this aspect?
Because it's a claim you're making.
First Samuel 15.
No, it's accurate.
It's inconsistent.
Is it accurate?
Let me explain why.
Is it accurate?
Please let me explain why. You said the only issue you have with it is because Muslims follow Muhammad. Otherwise, it happened in the Jewish community, it happened in the Christian community. The only reason you have a problem with Muhammad is that he's a prophet that all Muslims follow. And I'm telling you, if you look at the Muslim world.
No, hold on one second.
I'm telling you, if you look at the Muslim world, I don't see men marrying 6-year-olds.
Your argument is a cartoon characterization of my position.
Your argument is
Your argument
sci-fi.
is a
Movie
cartoon
sci-fi.
characterization of my
God goes to
position.
tree and then come back.
Your
What the
argument
hell
is a
that?
cartoon characterization of my
You
position.
said if I go to Saudi, I'm going to
Your
see.
argument is a
You
cartoon
said-
characterization of my
That's
position.
yours.
Allow
Power
me to
Rangers
reply.
stuff. It's yours. Power Rangers
Allow me to
stuff.
reply.
Your argument is illogical.
Allow me to reply. Yeah, I'll deal with that. I'll deal with that.
Muslims
I'll deal with that.
Muhammad,
Yeah,
go-
I'll deal with
go to
that.
Saudi,
I'll deal
they're
with
not
that.
following Muhammad. It doesn't make sense.
Okay, right.
How do
So,
you reconcile that?
so let's just deal with the characterization.
No, let's deal with this.
I haven't said
Your Lord likes in infants.
that
The Lord killed
all
donkey.
Muslims marry children. I
All
have
the
never
Malachi.
said that.
He gives the
No,
vengeance.
don't interrupt or I just start shouting again.
Because I'm getting on your
So, you have said, thank you.
head. We have said that
Right.
your God killed
Listen,
and kids.
or I just have to start
Your God
shouting
keep
if you
kids for
can't
himself.
control yourself.
So why are you not talking about your God who
Right.
keep kids?
So I have
Infants.
never
Infants.
said, I have never said that all Muslims copy Muhammad. If you actually
We all copy
listen to
Muhammad.
what I say, I've actually said that there are lots of Muslims who are better than Muhammad.
No one
that
better
they
than Muhammad.
don't do what Muhammad
Maybe
did.
all Muslims better than you.
I've
but
also
nobody's
said
better than
in
Muhammad.
this conversation,
I tell you
not
that for
that you
fact.
listened, that there is a difference between what is permissible
There is a difference
and
between
what
a man
is
and God.
obligatory.
I'm telling you that.
And the
between a man
reality
and a
is, and I'm
God.
going to pull up a list soon, and if someone could maybe beat me to it, that would help. All the Muslim countries where children are still being married, if someone could maybe find such a list, right? Legally. Like you can just pull up the age of consent in the Islamic world. So now listen.
Don't shout.
The reality
Don't shout,
is
fam.
in Saudi
You have no
Arabia,
one to talk to, man. Don't
in
shout.
Saudi
Listen,
Arabia,
matter of fact, now I'm
right?
gonna start talking all
Yeah.
over you.
Are you trying to be scary?
I'm gonna talk
You're
all
not
over you.
scary, bro.
And you know it's
Are you
scaring
not
me as
scary
well.
at
And you know
all?
it's scaring me
Right.
at
So
all.
listen.
So I'm
yeah.
not listening. Matter of fact, what you gonna
In
do?
the Islamic world,
Your
in
God,
many
yeah?
places,
Let's talk about God.
marrying
Forget about
children
prophet,
is
humans
still
like you and me.
permissible.
Let's talk about
And
your
the
God,
reason
fam.
why they make that argument is
The
because
reason
of this
why you're
hadith. Sorry, can we
fooled
pull up the hadith
because you're
again?
following your
I'm
God.
going to get it.
Your books is
extreme
upgraded.
I'm going.
to
No, no,
iPhone.
no.
Every
Right?
couple of years,
Listen,
you got a new book,
listen.
fam. What's the iPhone?
That the Prophet married her when she was 6 years old, and he's consummated the marriage when she was 9 years old, and that is narrated in Sahih al-Bukhari, narrated by Aisha. There's the Arabic.
And
No
this
one is
narrated in the
lying.
Bible, 1 Samuel 15.
And that is
2 to
Sahih
5.
al-Bukhari,
This is what Lord Almighty says. I will punish the
5134.
Amalekites
So we're not making it up.
for what
Now,
they
could you
did
pull
to
up a
Israel.
list
So
where
basically,
child
he
marriage?
kills the donkey, the soldiers, the women, and he keeps the infants. Infants is younger than 6 years old. Do you know what infants means?
So,
But the liar, do you know what infants means?
listen.
You know,
Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening?
What's your God saying?
In Yemen, it's legal to marry and have sex with a 9-year-old.
Liar.
Wait,
Liar.
let's have a look.
Show us a wedding. Show us a wedding.
Look,
Show us. He is a liar. Listen, you bring a claim, back it up with evidence. Listen.
in Bangladesh, it's acceptable to have sex with 14-year-olds.
Married to 7, 9 years old. Your grandfather was a pedophile. Are you listening? You yourself, yeah, you're a pedophile yourself.
No, tell him he come up which was Muhammad.
Yeah, forget about bastard, it's alright.
But if we go with that logic,
So answer about this.
In Iran, it is legal to have sex with 13-year-olds.
13. What about Saudi Arabia?
I told you already. Check what happened to you?
but I think we can agree that in some parts of the world, they can use the arguments from the Quran or Hadiths to make it permissible. But that's very different to whether it's encouraged and actually actively done.
Check Thailand as
So it's
well.
not necessarily true.
Check Thailand.
Wait,
The norm. It's
Which
not the
one is
norm.
important? Gods or the prophets?
I'm sure in every religion
Let's
you
talk
have the
about that,
minority
fam. Let's talk about your God that comes from a Bunani. He
okay.
died. Let's talk about that. How does it make sense to you? Your low IQ.
It was only in 2020
How does it make
in
sense?
Saudi Arabia that they made the age of consent
Saudi Arabia
was outlawed for anyone under the age of
Saudi Arabia is
15.
not Muhammad or Allah.
In 2020, how long has Islam dominated in Saudi Arabia? For 1400 years.
UK age of consent was 12.
There you go. Thank you very much.
How old is
There you
Saudi
go.
Arabia as a country?
So, let's deal with this. Let's deal with this. Let's deal with this, bro.
look at the UK.
Let's deal with this, bro.
Age of marriage.
So what? Listen to my point. Yeah, listen to my
He has
point.
no father, no mother.
So
has
my
no
point is,
family,
ladies and
no
gentlemen,
Not Jesus, yeah.
is
Jesus
that
has a mother,
everywhere around the world,
a woman vagina,
every
and he
country
died.
is raising the age of consent. But the greatest moral example, which is supposedly Muhammad, married a 6-year-old
What about Italy?
and had sex
What about
with
Italy?
a
What
9-year-old.
about Italy?
So the entire
What about
world,
Italy?
including
What about Italy?
many Muslim
What about Italy?
countries,
14 years old.
are saying in their legal systems
What about Italy?
that Muhammad is not an
The most
example
Catholic Christian
to follow.
country, the most Catholic Christian country.
Do you see my point now?
Italy, age of marriage is 14 years old.
I can't hear you. You're going to have to speak up.
2021. The Pope, the builder, the liar, he doesn't want to tell you that.
How have I contradicted myself?
You have with Muhammad having done this is because all Muslims follow Muhammad as a role model. And you just said actually in Saudi and all these Islamic countries, it's not the case.
What I said, again, you weren't listening. What I said was it is permissible and that some Muslims do it.
100% Jews to accurate. 14 years old.
In the minorities in every culture, in every religion, they have their own interpretation.
In Oman, it's the law. In before.
I'm from Arab. How come he doesn't want to listen to me?
But that's the point, bro. I would always. What I've said to you is that the sexuality attracted to children is a minority sexuality. But I never argued that they did. You've got the wrong end of the stick, bro. Exactly. So if Muslims are in their laws saying that you can't marry 6-year-olds and you can't have sex with 9-year-olds, Muslims themselves are admitting that Muhammad is not an example that they are willing to follow.
You're allowed to keep a kid's infant child. Basically, like, they're not even 6 years old. You know what's infant child? 2 days old, they can be an infant child. That's right.
Would you marry a 6-year-old?
No.
Why not?
This guy's stupid, fam. He's a liar, fam. If I'm a priest, I will rape a boys like he got raped. This guy got raped when he was young.
Because right here's you're following a logical fallacy. You're saying because you're following a logical fallacy. 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 You are following a logical fallacy, and the logical fallacy is this: that because I can find an exception to the rule, that the rule does not exist. Secondly, you're assuming that religions work like democracies. The fact of the matter is, religions work based upon authorities. The text of the Hadith is an authority on interpreting the Quran. The Quran allows marriage to prepubescent children. Did you know that?
Is he encouraged by his family to marry a 6-year-old?
He is permitted by his authorities to marry a child. The fact that he does not want to is a credit to him, not to his religion.
My dad didn't told me to touch boys in the church or whatever. My dad didn't raise me that. My dad is a Muslim. He told me marry the woman that you want. Nobody says 6 years old. Nobody says like Christian touching.
Sahih al-Bukhari says 6 years old. We showed you the reference.
If you have a son, your son
Sahih al-Bukhari said 6 years old. We showed you the reference.
Sahih Bukhari is not prophet. Sahih Bukhari
5134. Sahih al-Bukhari 5134 says that Muhammad married a 6-year-old and had sex with a 9-year-old. We showed you the reference.
He said, from the Bible.
Oh, that you got on somewhere else.
It says keep infants, you know. It means 1 day old or 2 days old.
He just said that.
Look at that. I don't know if you can see it. That's from a Bible. Go to the Old Testament, New Testament,
that Muslims,
Virgin, whatever you will find.
I accept that Muslims pick and choose which hadiths they want to believe in today.
No.
They do. They do. Like he just did.
He just said that specific hadith may not be completely accurate. Can you accept that?
Right.
Can you accept that?
No, I don't accept it. Let me explain. Shall I shout again? Shall I shout again? Shall I shout again?
Why does that make you
Or
right?
do you want to have a conversation?
Why you think if you shout, you're right?
You see, the thing is, if you just keep asking the same question over and 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 over, it gets tiring, doesn't it? Right, so let's have a conversation.
Look at his face.
So, the reason why I don't accept what he says about the hadith.
You know the devil color is red, yeah?
He's
Look
not
at Bob
an
the liar,
ulama.
he's turning red.
Let me finish my answer.
That's the devil color.
He's not an ulama. He's just someone in the park making a lot of noise.
Now exposing
Imam
you.
Bukhari.
I'm a little boy.
Imam Bukhari
and I'm not even a religious.
is celebrated
and I'm exposing his
by
lie.
Muslims for collecting authentic hadiths. Imam Bukhari is an authority in the Islamic world, not this guy. That is why I don't accept what he says. I accept what the majority of Muslims say about Sahih al-Bukhari. Do you understand my point?
If you have a specific, let's say a senior, I don't know,
Have you done your
Have
Have you done your
was to
army?
claim
If
that
you are
this
a man,
aspect
have you done your
was that
army?
the hadith is
Have you done your army?
what would you
I'm sorry, say again.
If you have an Islamic leader who, you know, is a notable figure in the Islamic world and question the accuracy of this hadith, would you accept it?
So I'll give you an example of someone that does. Mufti Abu Layth. He lives in the UK. He questions these hadiths. He is rejected by huge numbers of Muslims.
Not that big,
Too late.
but better. I can
Too late, you're on camera. So the point is, he's rejected by lots and lots of Muslims for rejecting Sahih al-Bukhari, including by Muhammad Hijab, by Ali Dawa. They reject Abu Layth. By Shamsi, they reject Abu Layth.
Who doesn't take
Without
weight for you to
any
accept
even,
it?
you don't have to choose.
The reality is,
I'll
bro,
put it in
my
your face.
problem, and maybe this is where you're getting me confused. My problem isn't with Muslims. My problem is with
There's a
Islam.
reason behind it.
I have no
Don't judge a book by
problems
its cover.
with Muslims.
Don't judge a book by
I'll
its
judge
cover.
them as I meet them. Some of them are lovely. Some of them are. It depends who you meet and what mood they're in at the time. But Islam is not a democracy, like Christianity is not a democracy. It isn't decided by majority opinion. It's decided upon the authoritative texts. And for Sunni Muslims, that includes Sahih al-Bukhari. And I have the right to take issue with that representation of Muhammad.
If the most knowledgeable scholar in Islam comes today and say, hey, this Sahih Bukhari could potentially be inaccurate at some parts, would you accept it?
The reality is, bro,
accept it?
the reality is, bro, your question is a false question.
No, but it's a yes or no.
No, it's a false question because there is no universally accepted highest authority amongst the Muslims. They don't have a pope. One second. They don't have a pope. They don't have the idea of ecumenical councils. Every Muslim chooses the ulama that they like. And so you've got as many as opinions as you have scholars.
Like he said.
Again, you are mischaracterizing my argument.
talking to a liar.
My issue is
guy
not
will never
with
listen
Muslims.
to you.
Did you hear
He
that?
will force his way.
Did you hear
His
that?
God
So
says
my issue
entrance.
is with Sahih al-Bukhari and what it says about Muhammad.
His God says you can touch 1 day old, but he has problem with 9 years, 18, 14. But 1 day old,
Bro,
you
if
can
you do a
touch.
consensus of which Muslims
up, man.
accept Sahih al-Bukhari and which Muslims don't accept Sahih al-Bukhari, then you'll find that the majority of Muslim scholars accept Sahih al-Bukhari.
But if some of them, like he said,
He's just being political and you're a fool. He's saying that right now, but in his mosque, he'll be saying he believes in Sahih al-Bukhari. He'll say, yes, I'm saying he's being dishonest. I'm saying he's being dishonest. That's what I'm saying.
Read 1 Samuel.
I'm saying he's being
Chapter
dishonest.
15, verse
Because I
24.
guarantee in his mosque
That's the
and in
reference
front
to
of other
Christians.
Muslims, he'll be saying he believes in Sahih al-Bukhari.
Who said that?
He will say that.
Are you going to feed that in my mouth?
So you don't believe in
two
Sahih
against
al-Bukhari?
one.
So you don't
Two
believe in
against-
Sahih
Who said that?
al-Bukhari?
Who said that?
Do you?
Again,
I'm asking you.
I'm telling you this, yeah?
I am asking you, do you
I'm
believe in
telling
Sahih
you this.
al-Bukhari?
I'll tell you this.
Okay.
I believe Sahih and Bukhari, but it doesn't mean everything is right. Like not
Right.
everything
So
is right.
which criteria-
We have like 99, we have weak hadith, we have a strong hadith.
Yes.
We have, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it doesn't
Da'if,
mean... so
Hassan.
you go for the da'if.
Sahih.
You go
No.
for the Shia.
No.
You go for the Shia.
You didn't
da'if.
listen, did you?
No, you don't listen.
You didn't
to me.
listen.
You don't listen.
5,
Which
3,
one is greater?
4.
Which one is greater? The hadith or
Listen,
the Bible?
listen,
Which one
listen.
is greater? Hadith or Bible? I thought Bible was the
5,
word
3,
of God.
5,
I
1,
thought Bible was
3,
the word of
4.
God. Why are you not going from the Bible?
Sahih
Let's go from the Bible and
Bukhari.
Quran.
Did you hear that?
No.
Sahih
Quran
Bukhari.
and Quran
What
and
does
Bible.
Sahih mean?
Quran and Bible.
What does Sahih mean?
What does it mean Bible mean?
What does Sahih
What
mean?
does it mean Bible
It
mean?
means a library.
Is it
What
word
does
of God
Sahih
or
mean?
is it word of Satan?
What does Sahih mean?
Is it word of God or
You
is
see,
it
you
word
don't.
of
Why don't you
Satan?
want to answer a
Why
question?
does it want to know answer from his
Do
Bible?
you know what Sahih means?
It's talking about hadith. Sahih, it means right.
There you go.
It means right.
Sahih means right. And he said he believes it.
I didn't say I believe it. I said he's a liar.
So he says on one hand, he says on one hand, it's right and it's reliable. But then when he finds those hadiths embarrassing, he says that they are da'if. On what grounds do you say it's
But you will
da'if?
never find in the Quran. I
On
find
what
on the Bible.
grounds do
I
you
find
say
on the
it's
Bible.
da'if?
Your God says you can keep 1 day old.
Can we pull up the verse in the Quran where it says about
Your
prepubescent
God
children?
says even kill donkey and keep 1 day old.
Bro.
So what the flip are you talking about? Don't be a hypocrite. Mr. Liar.
You literally just contradicted yourself
How
in the
am I
same
contradicting
conversation.
How?
I would love
Go
to
on.
tell you.
How?
Let me tell you.
Go on.
Let me tell you.
Go on. Make
Let
sure
me
you
tell you.
don't
Patience,
vocal.
patience.
I watch you a lot.
Let
You
me
talk
tell.
too
Let me
much.
tell you.
I will stop you if you talk.
Let
Go
me
on.
tell you.
Go on.
You said
Yeah.
Sahih means right, reliable. That's what you said. It's
I
on
never
camera.
said reliable. Reliable is different than right.
Right.
Right and reliable is
It's all
two different
dependent on how you translate the
meanings.
Arabic.
Is that mean reliable, right?
But then when he found
Is that
the
right? It is
hadith
reliable?
embarrassing, he said that it's
Do I
not
have to teach you
reliable.
your English. Do I have to teach
What,
you English?
what grounds do you
English
say
is
it's
my
not
third
reliable?
language. English is my
What
third
grounds
language.
do you say it's not reliable?
Listen, what does it mean infant?
What
I
grounds
answered
do
you.
you
I answered
say
you already.
that it
Now
is not
answer me.
reliant?
What's infant means?
On what grounds?
infant
Go on,
means?
I'll talk to you. He's
No,
not
no, no, no,
listening.
no. You're not talking. You're not gonna dodge me. I answered you.
You're
now
either going to
answer
let him
me.
dominate you
I will
or you're gonna
dominate
talk for
you.
yourself.
I will
I'm listening
dominate
to you
you.
now. You have
What's
my
infants
attention.
means?
But, like,
What's
the
infants
way I
means?
see it is-
What's
Go on.
infants
I think,
means?
like,
What's
I prefer,
infants
like,
means?
you guys
What's
are
infants
transparent
means?
to the, you know, I
What's
don't-
infants
I can't
means?
hear
What's infants means?
I can't hear you.
I answered you what Sahih
can't hear
means.
you.
Answer me what's
So you
infants.
can shut him up. The Quran 2.222
What's infants?
for sex.
Before he shut me up, he has to answer me like I answered him.
You ask him.
I answered. Is it not man enough? Are you not man enough?
Stood right
Are you
here,
not
bro.
taking 101?
Stood right
I took
here.
yours. Wait, took mine.
Stood
So
right
what
here,
does
bro.
it mean infants?
Stood right here, bro.
What does it mean infants?
Hold on, just going to
What
get it
does it
for
mean?
you.
Hold on, what?
Just going to get it for
Don't
you.
be scared. He's holding me, fam. What does it mean infants?
I'm going to get it for you.
He's gonna get for me infants, you know, the word of infants. He's gonna
Okay,
get it for me.
right. Listen.
Look at this stupid guy.
Yeah, are you listening?
I don't listen, man.
Okay. Oh, he's walking off. He's walking off.
I said infants.
He's walking off.
Infants.
Now I'm
He
going to
can.
reply to this now.
He's holding
Oh,
a
bro, get off
I'm
other
talking about
people's
infants.
vote. Get off other people's
Infants,
vote.
look, English,
I'm
man,
saying
infants,
is-
Wait, no,
infants, it
I'm
means
going
1
to
day
reply
old,
to this guy.
2
Then
days
we're
old,
gonna talk.
3
No,
days old,
I'm going to reply
babies.
to this guy. then we're
Answer that,
gonna talk. I'm going to reply to this guy, and then we're going
Reply
to
what?
talk.
Answer infants. You don't
Okay.
need to use dictionary.
So, talking about the waiting periods between
15
divorces.
minutes ago. He
No,
is not. He
the
keep
Quranic
bugging.
verse
He's running away.
about the waiting periods between
Answer me, what does it mean,
divorces
infants?
that include those who haven't had their courses yet, their menstruation. Right, go on.
What I want to say
By the way, we don't need to get all touchy-touchy. Okay.
What does it mean infants?
Well, I mean, if people interrupt me, I have to shout. Go on.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, why are you debating this in the first place? Why don't you debate what is the truth? If
Right.
that was the truth, you would follow it, right?
So, shall I answer
genuinely
that?
believe.
Shall I answer that question?
Wait 1 second. If you genuinely believe whether you go to heaven or hell depends on Islam, why wouldn't you follow that?
Okay, so let me answer that
Why
question.
would it matter?
Do you want me to answer that question? Right. So here's the problem, right? This book you say is from God, okay? This book says that you can marry children. I'm going to show it to you right now, okay? I've got it. Yeah, right? Now, do you believe that you can marry children?
I mean, personally, the way I see it, I'm not that knowledgeable, so I don't want to speak on anything, because obviously in Islam we don't believe that's right. But what
No,
I
you
see
do.
is-
Let's read it. And those of you, this ayah, this verse is talking about the waiting period between divorces. Between, if I divorce a woman, how long can a divorced woman wait before she can remarry? And it gives all the qualifications thereof. Right? Listen to the words of this verse. And those of your women as have passed the age of monthly courses, for them, the iddah, you know what iddah is, the waiting period? The iddah, if you have doubt, is 3 months. And for those who have no courses, and this is what your Muslim scholar puts into the text in Saudi Arabia, id est, which means, for example, id est, they are still immature.
Okay.
That's your Muslim scholar commentating on your Quran, saying that you can marry children.
Okay.
It's right there in your book. I agree. That is a lie. It is right there in your book, and the Quran is lying to you.
You know what I'm saying. I'm saying to you, let's say, yeah, like imagine there wasn't any religion. There was just like one religion, yeah?
Yeah.
And it says you can, I don't know, murder is fine, yeah?
Yep.
Obviously we know murder is wrong.
Yeah.
Sorry? But if you believed it was the truth, okay. Something you know is wrong, but if you believed it was the truth, and you could prove it was the truth, then you would follow the religion, right?
Right, so let's just be clear about this. Your religion is telling you that you can do things that you know are wrong.
See, look, I don't know, like I said, I'm not knowledgeable. That's why I don't want to speak on this.
There's no religion on earth.
So
Let
let me just talk to this bro. You see, and this bro is why I've got to shout. Because here I am trying to have a conversation with you, and this is what I've got
There's
a
no
problem with.
religion on earth that tells you to do
No,
wrong.
I want to address your key point, which
Tell
is
me what
why aren't I
religion tells you
debating
to
what
do
the
wrong.
truth is?
Don't be silly.
I am saying that we can
Stop listening to
investigate.
him.
Why are you
Tell
trying
me
to tell
one
him?
religion
Sorry,
that
are
tells you to
listening?
do wrong.
Don't be intimidated by this guy.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim.
Don't be
There's
intimidated
not
by
one
this guy.
religion that tells
Are
you
you
to
listening?
do wrong. So how
Are you
dare you
listening?
then tell him that?
Are you listening?
Are you Muslim or?
Of course.
He's Muslim, yeah.
Malaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Okay, what I'm saying is like,
Finish the argument.
So let me
Finish the argument. There's no religion on earth that tells you to do wrong.
Why are you letting him dominate you? He's ISIS, by the way.
Listen,
He's
I've
ISIS, by the way.
won the argument.
He's ISIS.
There's no religion on earth that tells you to do wrong.
Right.
So whatever he's saying is stupid.
So
if you want to get your point, because you want to bring
So carry on debating and wasting time. We've got
I'm
things
going
to
to try
do.
and speak. I'm going to try and speak.
Checkmate, I got him.
So the reason why we're talking about this topic is because we can discern what is the truth. Our responsibility is to find the truth. Would you agree? Right. So we've got to find the truth, right? So it's not just a case that we should accept what people tell us. We should investigate it. Your Quran even tells me to investigate your Quran. It doesn't tell you, it tells me, right? So when I investigate the Quran and I find something that says those who have no courses, that's children, and your Islamic scholar agrees with me because he's put the words, they are still immature, into the text. You can read that, right? Yeah, I'm not lying, am I? Am I lying? No. Right. So I am not lying about what your scholars are saying your Quran is saying. But what I'm saying to you is, if you believe that, you're an idiot and you haven't found the truth. Because you know in your heart and your mind you shouldn't be marrying and having sex with children.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, how does that tell you what the truth is?
Because if your religion is telling you to do something that you know is rationally wrong, you know it's wrong, to marry a child...
Okay, but I just said to you...
Right.
What if there
Do
was
you
a
agree
religion,
that it is rationally wrong to marry children?
Look, I just said to you, if there was a religion, one religion, not like loads now, one religion, and it tells you murder people. You know it's the truth.
Right.
You said you'd be part of that religion, right?
So what you're saying to me is, because your religion says that you can marry children, you're now willing to marry children?
Right or wrong. I said to you, I'm not knowledgeable, so I'm not going to speak on this.
Right, so what I'm saying to you, you've got the evidence.
Brother, don't interrupt, so come on, you're doing it now, bro.
Okay.
Okay. I'm saying, don't look at, like, you're trying to prove this is wrong, so don't do that. I'm not going to speak on that, like I said. But I'm saying, if you look for a proof, that's better. There's no point arguing on things like, did this happen? I could come to Christianity and say a number of things, but like I said, I'm not going to say it. But if you look, you should be looking for the truth. You shouldn't be looking to try and say, this religion's wrong because of that, this religion's because of that.
So let me address this point. Let me address this point. Firstly, I hope you will now go and give that lecture to all of the Dawah team in the park. Because that is exactly what they do. They come to this corner every Sunday attacking the Christian faith. Every single Sunday, all of them. So please, we would like to see the videos of you telling them not to attack Christianity, but something tells me you won't do that. Wait, one second. The next thing is that you agree that you have a moral obligation to find the truth. Now, God has not left you ill-equipped to find the truth. He's given you reason, he's given you rationality, he's given you the ability to speak and to have conversations. He's given you the ability to analyze texts and to think about what these texts mean. Now, I'm asking you to do that right now, because your text is saying that you can have a waiting period between marriages and lists amongst those that have waiting periods children. Now, you know that it is not rational to marry a child. So your reason and your conscience, which is also given to you by God, are both telling you that the Quran is misleading you. The question is, do you have the confidence to follow your reason and your conscience or not?
Okay, but I already told you, I'm not looking to say what's right or wrong because I don't have the knowledge to say that. But I'm just telling you to, like you keep coming back to the same argument, but I'm saying there's no point looking at this.
Why is there no point looking at it?
Because this is just looking at, you said people come to this corner to attack Christians, right?
Yeah.
So you react to that by doing the same thing?
No. In my faith, there's no prohibition about attacking ideas and belief systems. There's no prohibition. In fact, as Christians, we're commanded to attack ideas and belief systems.
Okay, but when you come to attack from a point of like proving it's true. Look at like where do Muslims prove the Quran is the truth? Look at that.
Shall we do that right now?
No, but see, like I said, I don't know. I'm not knowledgeable.
I'm going to be talking about that. You know that big embryology fake miracle that Muslims talk about in the Quran, when they say that the Quran describes embryology.
I don't know. Like,
it's totally false.
I don't want to comment on that because.
But hold on one second. So a couple of things, right? You are here saying on one hand that you accept that we have a moral obligation to find the truth, but yet when you are confronted with something that questions Islam, you don't want to consider it. So you're betraying your moral obligation.
If you want to consider, speak to like, there's lots of knowledgeable brothers here.
They just run away.
They all run.
They all run. Yeah, he runs. We've got him on camera running dozens of times. He just runs.
I mean, I'm sure there's context.
Ali Dawa, Shamsi, Hashim, Mansour, Mohammed Hijab, Adnan Rashid, they just run away because they can't handle these arguments.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not really. I think there must be context. They won't run away to that. Like
they are. That's exactly why they run.
I've seen them. But like,
I'll tell you what. We can approach them with you. We can approach any of the dawah. Yeah, you can stand by in the distance and you can see what the reaction is, and then
they'll run.
I guarantee you they'll argue with you.
They'll run.
Look, I don't know the argument for this, because I said I don't have knowledge. But I'm guaranteeing you.
But wait 1 second. Because here's the problem with you. You've got a cognitive dissonance going on right now. You're saying two contradictory things. You're saying on one hand, I have a moral obligation to find the truth. Agreed? I'm not misrepresenting you. But then on the other hand, you're saying that when you encounter something that challenges your faith, you're saying, well, I don't have the arguments for this. So what you're saying is, I am not searching for the truth. What you're doing is I'm looking for the way to defend the truth that I accept already.
Actually, no. What I'm saying is, I should have the knowledge. So I should be going to look into this. So when you show me this, I should go, okay, that's interesting. I'll go look into that. But right now, I don't have anything to say to you because I don't want to comment on something I don't know.
Okay, so we can do something hypothetically, right? Hypothetically, you go away and you research this, and you find that yes, the Quran does legislate for waiting periods between divorces, and includes amongst those women that have to wait between divorces, children. And you find that Muhammad did marry a child, and he did have sex with a child. Are you still going to follow Islam?
And then, if I find proof that the Quran is the truth, and if I follow the Quran that's going to lead me to Jannah, I'll follow the Quran.
You haven't actually answered my question. You just ignored my question completely.
I mean, okay,
my question was, if you go away and research this for yourself, and you find, once again, and you find that I'm not lying to you, the Quran does list children as amongst the people that have to wait between marriages. So these are children that are being married multiple times. And you do find, when you look into the hadiths, that Muhammad looked at a 6-year-old and wanted to marry her and had sex with her when she was 9, even though your reason and your conscience both tell you that that is wrong. And your reason and conscience are indisputably from God. Are you saying that you're not going to follow that God-given intellect?
Like I said, I don't see that as relevant. If I found like that one religion, it can say anything. It doesn't matter what it says. I'm not looking at the religion going, like, okay, I didn't come into Islam by looking at the Quran going, I like these principles, I'm going to join Islam. I could look at many books, I could look at philosophers if I want to. But I looked at Islam because I believe that there's a truth. If I thought Islam said, I don't know, give me something that's wrong.
Marrying
Other
children.
than this.
No, I'm not. I'm not giving you anything different.
example.
And deal with this
Worse,
example.
something worse than this, then.
Deal with this example.
Give me an example worse
Deal
than
with this example.
It doesn't matter. Okay,
Why?
that example.
Deal with this
That
example.
If I thought that was the truth, I'll follow it.
So you're saying that because of the Quran, you would be willing to marry a child?
If that was the truth, if I'm gonna go to Nar because I don't follow this, I'm gonna follow this.
So you would be willing to marry a child because of the Quran?
It doesn't tell me to marry a child.
Says it right here, look. Right? Remember, this passage is talking about the waiting period between marriages. So it assumes a marriage. And it says this, and those of your women as have passed the age of monthly courses, so that's elderly women, for them, the iddah, I'll read the brackets as well, prescribed period, if you have doubt about their periods, is 3 months. And for those who have no courses, that means no periods. What do you call a woman that doesn't have a period?
An elderly woman?
Call her a child.
A child, okay.
Yeah, and your scholar agrees with me because he put, you read these words so people don't think I'm lying.
I.e. they are still immature.
They are still immature. What do you call a female that is immature?
A child.
There you go. So your Quran is saying that you can marry a child. Do you think that's right or wrong?
Okay, so...
I want you to answer my question.
I'll answer it now. Okay, so if I think that's right, even if I believe
That's not my
true,
question. I said, do you think it's right or wrong?
So, okay, I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to comment on that because I don't know. But if I thought it was right, yeah, assuming I thought it was right, I would still follow it.
Right, and what I'm saying to you is you have a moral obligation to use the two faculties that God has given you. Would you agree that me and you can dispute about which of these books came from God, the Bible or the Quran? So that's disputable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Would you agree that it is indisputable that God gave you reason and conscience?
Yeah.
Right. So you know that something you have is actually from God, your reason and your conscience. So if your reason and your conscience is telling you that this passage of the Quran is wrong...
But it didn't tell me that. If it told me this is the right book and that is...
So would you marry a child?
If that is the truth, I'll do it.
I'm
But
not
I didn't
asking
say
you
that's
that.
the
I'm
truth.
saying, would you marry
I
a
don't
child?
know. See, that is the truth, but I'm saying...
Would you marry a child?
I wouldn't, but I don't have to.
Right, you don't have to, I agree. The Quran is not stipulating that you have to marry children. Do you think it's right to make it permissible to marry children? Would you start a political party and campaign to allow the marriage of
The
children?
answer to that question would be, if the Quran says that, then I would say it's yes.
And that's the problem, bro.
But if that's the problem, look, if this is the truth and it says that, then that's what I'm going to do. See,
Okay, and that's the problem.
In the 1800s, UK allowed people to marry 6-year-olds.
Yeah, but in the 1800s, we don't lift them up and say that they're prophets.
But again, it was a Christian country.
Again, we don't lift them up and say that they're
Yeah,
prophets.
but they were Christians, weren't they?
And we don't lift them up and say that their laws are from God.
Yeah, but it was a Christian country.
Is this from God?
Of course it is.
Right, so if this book from God says that you can marry children, do you think that that's right?
Well,
Yeah, I would.
And that's the problem, bro. Listen to yourself. Here you are in the 21st century saying that you are willing to marry a child because your book says you can.
You said if.
That's the problem.
You said if.
That's the problem. Would you marry a child? No. Would you want us to make it legal to marry children?
well, I don't know. If it's the Quran,
You don't know. You don't know. And that's the problem, guys. And I can see the conflict within you. I can see that conflict within you. You might deny it to yourself, but I can see it on your faces. Each one of you is right at this moment fighting between your belief in the Quran and what your conscience and your reason is telling you.
Bro.
Can I just ask you, where does it say that we can marry children in the Quran?
I'll just show it to you, love. Bear with us. We just had it a minute ago. Sorry.
Just show us where it says.
Yeah, I'm going to.
the tafsir, not the
Surah 65, Ayah 4. Surah 65, Ayah 4, right there.
Where is it?
So I've just literally given you the reference. Literally gave you the reference. Surah 65, Ayah 4. Let me read it to you, right? So it's talking about this verse.
Read it to me.
No. I'm going to speak. You've asked me to do something. I'm going to oblige you. But now it's incumbent upon you to show politeness and to let me speak. I'm going to. Right. So this ayah is talking about the waiting period between marriages. Right? Now, if you're waiting between marriages, what is the assumption? That there's a marriage, right? That there was a marriage. Yes?
Yeah.
I'm not being illogical or unreasonable, am I?
Yeah.
Okay, so listen to this verse. Right? So he's talking about the waiting period. And for those of your women as have passed the age of monthly courses, for them, the iddah, that's the waiting period, the iddah prescribed, if you have doubt about their period, is 3 months. And for those who have no courses, and your Islamic scholar from Saudi Arabia puts in brackets, id est, they are still immature. Can you see those words?
Immature.
Look, that's what your scholar says. Immature.
In Arabic, though, it's different. In
Oh, is it?
This in English,
Yeah.
it's not. In Arabic, it's completely different. But this is just the translation.
Wait, one second. Can I, sorry, I disagree with you, and here's why, right? Because I think I'm going to be, you're flanneling me, love. Do you know what I mean by that?
Sorry, but can I just say
No,
something?
let me explain my point. Let me explain why I think you're wrong.
Say something.
Dr. Mohammed Taqi-ul-Din al-Hilali and Dr. Mohammed Mushin Khan of Islamic University are the ones that translated this Quran, and they are the ones that put these, yes you can, but when I finished, have put these words in the brackets. Now, what are your qualifications to say that you outrank these people?
I can't read Arabic. In Arabic,
Oh my gosh.
Wait, you can't contradict the Quran. You can't bring anything out of badness from the Quran when it's in Arabic.
I can bring out
when
loads.
It's in English, that's different.
No, we can.
Arabic is completely different.
So what you're believing is a myth you can't even test.
It's not a myth.
You can't read Arabic. You can't read Arabic.
I'm Arab, I can't read Arabic.
So how do you know then?
I understand it.
If you can't read Arabic,
Who can read Arabic can read us this in Arabic.
right?
Read it in Arabic.
Firstly, let's just agree. This is my book. Stop grabbing it.
Okay.
I will hold it for you.
Let someone read it in Arabic. Let
Right.
someone read it in Arabic.
Okay, go on. So this is the passage. I will hold it for you. There you go.
اقرأ هاي البيت.
This one.
Out loud.
You can put your finger on it, just don't grab it.
وإلى إبليس من المحيض من النساء إن تريتم عدتهن 3 أشهر 3 months التي لم تحض before is قبل ما تحض
Before, yeah.
yes والتي أحملنا جهودهن من بعضهن حملا ومن يتق الله فيجعل له من أمره يسرا.
Okay, now let me ask him. Sorry, one question. Does it say for those that have no courses in the Arabic?
Yeah, but look, what I'm saying is.
Does it say that?
What I'm saying is to you.
Those who have no courses. Sorry, I'm asking him a question.
Yeah, but
We've just done an exercise. One second. Sorry, guys. You've just done an exercise in let an Arabic speaker read the Arabic Quran. So now it is legitimate for me to ask a question. My question is a simple one. Do the words that for those who have no courses appear in the Arabic? For those who have no periods, for those who have no menstruation?
يعني شو مكتوب بالقرآن لما ربنا بيحكي إنه ما عندهم
menses. Does that appear in the Arabic? So I'm not lying then?
No. يعني باش الإنسان ما يقربش للمرأة وهي تكون بالمحيض.
So that means that God is saying, do not come near to the woman who has her menses
This
because
is number
it's
one.
not pure.
Second one.
No, hold on. You've missed the argument entirely, sister. Let me be clear about what we're talking about.
Yes,
This passage, you've just said he doesn't know English. So this passage is talking about women between marriages.
Waiting period because
Between
ages ago,
one
they
second,
no
between
tests or
marriages.
anything, so it's-
Between marriages.
Yes.
And that includes, it lists those that haven't had menstruation. What is a female that hasn't had menstruation? What do we call them?
What do you mean who hasn't had menstruation?
It's amazing. Everyone in the world can answer this question.
He was looking for a child.
Which is the right answer. One second, and just so that you don't think I'm like, one second, yes, of course. Just so you don't think I'm making it up, your scholars are the ones, not me. They are the ones that put they are still immature.
Yeah, but they're the ones who put it. God didn't say it in Arabic though. It's not there in Arabic.
So what are your qualifications for disagreeing with these two doctors?
This guy, they can put whatever they want. But
In Saudi Arabia, I don't think so.
In Arabic, it's one book.
Quran is not from Saudi Arabia. Saudi
from
Arabia is a
God.
country. That's it.
Quran doesn't come from Saudi Arabia.
It's from God.
I'm saying to you.
In Arabic, it's different.
I can disprove the Quran in 10 minutes.
No, you can't.
I'll do it in 5 minutes.
he can't. But
Something
what
from
I'm saying
God,
is,
from the Lord of the world.
like, again, you're looking at the text again. I'm saying, I'm not gonna say if it's true or not because I don't have the knowledge to say
in
that.
Arabic, we just read it in Arabic. God doesn't say
And he agreed
when
that
they're
no
not
courses
sure.
does appear.
Look, I'm not trying to argue that because that's a long conversation. That's
And
what you're
by
doing
the
right
way,
now.
God doesn't
But what I'm saying to you is, if it's the truth or if it's not, doesn't matter. If this is the truth, I'm following it. You get me?
But God doesn't agree with child marriage.
Except Muhammad.
I'm not saying it
How
does.
old was
I'm not
Aisha?
saying
In Arabic, does it
How
say-
old?
I'm just saying it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
if it's the truth.
right. So, how old was Aisha when Muhammad married her?
I don't know.
6.
But
How old was he?
Come on, she wasn't 6,
Yes.
man. That's all.
No, it isn't.
That's Islamophobic
We're not
site
talking
that you're reading off.
So an Islamic website called Islamka.
Islamophobia.
Islamka is an Islamic website.
No, it's
Yeah,
not true.
quoting. Look. This is Sunnah.com.
I swear she was 40.
Look, 1 second. Are you listening?
I'm saying to
Yeah, there's no point getting
She was
emotional.
40.
No, you're wrong.
She was 40.
Don't get emotional.
What I'm saying to
Oh,
him is,
it's
it
gone,
doesn't
bro.
matter
Can we go back?
If that's what it says or not.
Sick.
Whether it says that or not isn't the point. What the point is,
Right.
I swear she
Look.
wasn't sick.
Are you look, sister? Are you listening? You can get emotional.
No, I'm just
Right, just listen.
that's condescending.
Listen,
Bro,
right?
that's
Listen. You can get emotional,
Bro,
but
that's
it won't.
condescending. Don't say
You
that.
can get emotional,
Bro,
but it will not change any of the facts.
Bro, you can't be saying that.
Let's look at this.
Why are
1
you
second.
looking at
Are you
that?
listening?
Someone who's
You're
really
getting
good,
emotional.
like Brother
You need to
Hamza
just
or
listen.
something.
Look. Are you
saying-
listening?
What?
Are you listening? Because you said that I lied, and you said it was from an Islamophobic website.
is.
I'm going to prove you wrong.
Okay, do it then.
Sunnah.com. That is an Islamic website. Sahih al-Bukhari 5134. That's an Islamic source. And this is what it says. That the Prophet, peace be upon him, married her when she was 6 years old, and he consummated his marriage when she was 9 years
Okay,
old.
so
That's an
when she was
Islamic
9 years old.
website
Okay, can I just
quoting
say
an
something?
Islamic
We're
source talking about your
1400
Prophet.
years ago.
Okay, if she was 6,
We're talking
if she was
about
14, does it matter?
we're talking
Does
about
it matter if she was-
1400 years ago.
But I'm
In
saying to him,
those
like,
times, it could have been okay for that.
What I'm saying to him,
But
I'm
now
trying to
it's
say
not.
this
You get me?
argument
In
is
those
irrelevant.
times, it could have been.
I'm
It's
saying
not
to him-
paedophilia.
So what you're saying
Whatever
is,
the Quran says,
well, what you're
the Quran
saying
is
is,
the truth we follow,
Muhammad
right?
is not the
We don't
best
have to
example
argue
for
about
today.
He's the best example for mankind.
Except when he's marrying children.
I'm saying to him, if she was 12 years
Do you see my point?
We need someone
He's the
who
best
really
example for mankind, except when he's shagging kids. Then he's not the best example for mankind.
But why are you still arguing about this? That's what I'm saying to you. The whole point was to stop this argument with this guy. I know you're having the same argument here. I'm trying to tell you, it doesn't matter what the Quran says.
It doesn't matter what the Quran
It
says.
says if the Quran is the
I agree with
In
you.
the Bible, in the Bible.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, but
It
in
does
the
not matter what the
Bible,
Quran
can I
says.
say
We should
something?
stop following it.
In the
But
Bible.
look, I'm trying to say to you, if the Quran says she's 65189, it doesn't matter. If it's the truth, we follow
Wait,
it.
wait, wait,
okay?
wait. No,
I'm not going to comment on what the Quran says because I don't have the
Listen,
knowledge.
wait, let's go in the Bible. In the Bible, it says that Jesus went and killed all the women and children.
Show me.
I've seen it so many times.
Jesus.
I don't have anything.
And so the sister says that she's seen in the Bible
Yeah, that-
where
that
it
they
says
kill-
Jesus said, "Kill the women and
Yeah,
children."
show them no
Show me.
mercy.
Show
Show
me.
them no mercy.
Show me where it says Jesus does
Well,
that.
I swear,
Show me.
I don't have a book.
Shall I tell you what you do? You're flanneling again.
Oh my God.
You're just
I don't know,
making stuff up.
I don't know how to-
You're just making stuff up. The thing is,
It's like
right?
trying to contradict
Let's try and move this discussion forward, right?
To whether the Quran
So I want to
Arabic.
demonstrate to
You know
you.
what? Wait, anybody who doesn't know the Quran in Arabic can't say nothing.
I don't believe in Arabization, but why did you when you can't read the Arabic?
I understand it, but I listen.
You
to
literally
it, I
just stood here
understand
and
it.
said that I'm wrong, but now you're telling me because I don't know Arabic I can't say anything. But then you said you can't read Arabic, so how can you say I'm wrong if you can't read Arabic?
I understand it in Arabic. I understand the Quran.
Well, maybe you can understand this then, love, because your Quran has a goring error in it, a glaring error. Are you sure?
There's not one error.
Okay, I'll show you.
It's Arabic.